Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today we are getting into some fragrance family rankings. Today we're getting into tobacco today, amber, leather, and oud. I don't have too many fragrance samples to rank in each category. That's why we're putting these four together for you today. If you haven't seen my other ranking videos, I have a whole bunch of samples I bought, just kind of random things I wanted to try, some discovery sets, and just random samples I picked up. I have been smelling them, ranking them, putting them on a list, and figuring out my nose a little bit better and figuring out what I like, what notes I do like, what I don't like, and thinking about possible future purchases of full-size bottles. So I hope you find this ranking helpful if you're a newbie like me. You know, these samples are really don't have any significance as far as what I picked and what I haven't picked. And you may not agree with how I categorize these. Some people think some fragrances belong in one family over another, but overall I thought these pretty much fit in these boxes according to my nose. So I'm doing a whole series, grouping them depending on how many fragrances I have in each category. So we're getting into a little bit more of an interesting area. I think especially if you are more into feminine fragrances most of the time, these categories might surprise you. You may like something from here that you may think you would never like. So I have been enjoying dabbling into these families. Alright, you may have noticed that I look a little bit different, and that is because the sound quality of this video did not go so well. There was like a weird static that just repeated throughout the video and I couldn't take that out. So I'm refilming, I look different, I'm a little bit more casual looking, my hair's not as done and all that. Anyways, let's start with amber. I have 7 fragrances in this family. We're gonna start with number 7, Tiziana Terenzi, Caput Mundi. And this one has a weird, not weird, but just a different kind of a sweetness to it, and that it's almost like sickly sweet to my nose. The top notes are Cabueva, Rose, Iris, Lily of the Valley. The middle notes are saffron, Indian oud, sandalwood, and orris. The base notes are ambergris, oud, and cedar. You know, amber fragrances have a richness to them, and that's why people like them. But this one, there's something off about it, and I think it's like the really sweet amber that I'm not really a fan of. I received this, I think, as a sample with some order at some point. This is not one I sought out to pick up, but I believe this brand, I think this Caput Mundi is one of the top fragrances for this brand, or maybe a newer one. I'm not sure why I received it, but yeah, I rank that one at number 7. Number 6 is a discontinued fragrance, but it's been a fragrance that I've been wanting to try for a long time, and it's Tom Ford Plum Japonais. And I rank this one at number 6 because I have to say, like, I had a dupe for this first, and I really enjoyed the dupe for it from Alexandria Fragrances. I think it's better than the original. And it's available if you want to pick it up. But the discontinued one, the Tom Ford one, I was disappointed when I smelled the real thing. And this one, to me, it's a little bit amber, but I just thought this would be fruitier because it has plum in the name. And while it does have the spices that often go with amber, it's not quite spicy enough for me to like it that much. It has cinnamon, saffron, Japanese plum, plum blossom, liqueur, oud, amber, benzoin, fir, and vanilla. I think people love this, but it probably has been discontinued for a reason. I don't know if the ingredients are just not available, but it's just a little bit lackluster to me. Number 6, I have Anne Pilska, and the fragrance is also called Anne Pilska. This is like very quintessential spicy amber, and it's got an orange sweetness to it that I think a lot of people will like. This is not a new fragrance by any means, and I think it's probably one people have skipped over, but I saw it on Lucky Scent, and it was one of their recommended fragrances to try, so I picked up a sample, and it's nice. It has amber, orange, vanilla, musk, patchouli, bergamot. It smells very orangey at the moment. I feel like every time I smell this, it's slightly different. Because before I smelled a lot more amber. Maybe it's like the very beginning of the scent. It's a little bit more amber smelling, but I'm smelling lots of orange right now. So this could go in the citrus category, but I feel like it's a little bit rich to be considered like a citrus fresh fragrance. It's interesting. It's number 5 for me, and number 4 is from Louboutin, Loubicroc. This is in a bit more of a deeper direction, more of a fall winter fragrance, and I think this is a crowd pleaser. I think this is a very wearable amber, a little bit more feminine, has myrrh, cypriol oil, and sandalwood. And I think this one is just generally a little bit more of a mainstream amber. It's designer. It's not exactly a niche fragrance brand, but I don't know how many people are aware of Louis World and Christian Louboutin besides the shoes. He has fragrances now, and I enjoy them. I think they're really pleasant. And Loubicroc is the more amber offering from the collection. I think it's really nice. Number 3, you probably will disagree with me that this should maybe be number 1, but Andy Tower, Accord du Desert. I know a lot of people love this one. Maybe at a different point in my life, I would, this list will be different. Maybe this will be number 1 later, but at this point in my life, I like the scent of this. This is just not something I want to wear, so that's why it's at number 3. But I do think it's a classic amber scent, and it's chocolatey. It's almost on a gourmand level to me. It's definitely got that amber richness. Like, this is one of the classic amber scents, and it has coriander, cumin, patchouli, cedar, ambergris, and resin. This one is really nice. To me, it reads a little bit older, and I hope you don't get offended by that. It's just a nighttime fragrance, a date fragrance, not something I would wear when it's warm, because it might be a little bit much for people, but it does have a sexiness to it that I can really appreciate, and I do think this is a really well done set, but it's not for me at this point in my life, but I'm sure I'll pick up a bottle eventually, or the other popular one, the La Air version. They're both really good. Number 2, I think this one wasn't like a love at first sniff. This is Penhaligon's. Number 2 for me is Penhaligon's Clandestine Clara. And I get a lot of vanilla with this, so it's on the sweeter end, and it's definitely one of those more, to me, crowd-pleasing mainstream fragrances, but it certainly has a lot of amber to it. It has amber, rum, vanilla, woods, cinnamon, and patchouli. Yeah, I just get a lot of like, ooh, I like this. I mean, it's just an easy like for me. And I'm sure it's not on the top of a lot of people's amber lists, but I enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. And when comparing all the samples that I'm looking at, to me, this had to be near the top. Number 1, MFK, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Grand Soir. This one smells really good. This is one of those that I put on and can, like, you just keep smelling it throughout the day. Like, it's a good wafter. I get a lot of amber at the top, but the benzoin, it's just so much richness to this. It's amber incense. It's got benzoin, vanilla, tonka bean, labdanum, amber. I think this is number 1 for me because it's something I could wear more than the Tower Akro Desert. Like, I could see myself wearing Grand Soir, but it's still like a little bit much for me. I think if you love amber already, this is a no-brainer. I mean, a lot of people talk about this fragrance because it's so well done. It's got, I'm smelling a lot of like freshness right now. Like, it's funny, every time I go back to some fragrances, I smell something different every time. While it's got like the vanilla, the tonka bean, I'm getting a lot of like incense, but almost some earthy notes in here when I'm smelling it at the moment. It's a nice blend. Some of you, if you're not like in love with amber, you may think this is a little bit much, and I would just do 1 or 2 sprays at night and maybe keep it in the fall. Anything that's too rich, a colder environment, is gonna be a little bit safer choice for you. So that rounds out my ranking for my ambers. For my tobacco smoke category, I have 5 fragrances I want to rank. Some of these could be put into other categories, of course. But let's start with number 5. I'm choosing Akro Fragrances Malt. It is a boozy fragrance, but I have to say it's one of my least favorite of the Akro fragrances. I think it's not boozy enough, and yeah, it just didn't impress me too much. It has whiskey, seaweed, rum, leather, patchouli. I'm not a fan. It just didn't do it for me. It didn't really smell like an alcohol I wanted to drink. So I put this in the number 5 spot. Number 4 would be Etat Libre d'Orange Jasmin et Cigarette. It's a mostly jasmine fragrance. The top notes are smoky, which I like. I like that combination. But the dry down is mostly jasmine, so if you're looking for a real smoky scent that lasts, this isn't going to be it. But I did like the combo. And it has jasmine, tobacco, apricot, hay, musk, cedar, cumin, tonka bean, and amber. My number 3 pick would be Replica Jazz Club, a 10 ml here. And the reason I like Jazz Club, it's a better boozy fragrance to me, and while we're in the tobacco smoke category, this does have tobacco in it, and when I think boozy, I often think smoky for whatever reason. And Jazz Club has pink pepper, neroli, lemon, rum, sage, tobacco, vanilla, while Replica is very like mainstream. I think it does have a little bit of an edgier fragrance, and this is one of the edgier ones, although I think a lot of people could wear it. I think technically this is masculine. It does have a certain amount of sweetness to it though. My number 2 pick is another Replica fragrance by the Fireplace. This is definitely smokier. They have candles in this. It's not super smoky though. It does have more spiciness to it, so some of you may be disappointed because you want more smoke. But it has cloves, pink pepper, orange blossom, chestnut, wood, juniper, vanilla, balsam, cashmere, another 10 ml one I have. Yeah, it's got some hints of Fireplace, but it's not like overwhelming like you think it might be because of the name. My number 1 pick is Akro Fragrances again, and it's smoke. This one actually does smell like a really good smoke, not a dirty, not an ashy or fireplacey type of smoke, but a clean, wafty, airy smoke. And it doesn't smell like a cigarette, but it smells good. It has smoked tobacco leaf, benzoin, cade oil, and tonka bean. And this would probably be my next purchase from Akro. I have Awake, which is the coffee one, but I really like smoke as well. So that rounds out my ranking of my tobacco smoke fragrances. Okay, so moving on to my next little grouping here. I have leather and I have oud. And I have 4 in each category. Let's start with leather. My number 4 choice for leather is Etat Libre d'Orange Attaquer Le Soleil. I know I butchered that. This one smells a little bit like an animal to me. A little bit of BO for some reason. It says it has labdanum and cistus. I don't know what those things are, but I'm getting a more like animal smell rather than like a nice clean leather. So that one is number 4 for me. And the next 2 are also from the same brand. My 3rd pick is from Etat Libre d'Orange. This is Rien, R-I-E-N. And this one smells a little bit more typical leather to me, but also has some incense, a little bit of kind of a spice going on. It's nice, a little bit more masculine leaning. It has leather, incense, oak moss, patchouli, amber, iris, black pepper, cumin, and rose. Let me do another spray because I can barely smell this one right now. Yeah, the top notes, I can definitely smell like the rose, like the floral notes of this. I think for me, like this is a different kind of a leather. I want it to not be floral, but I know that's a popular combination. Yeah, it's very, the dry down is more masculine, the top notes are more feminine, which is funny. And you can smell the leather coming through. It's just that rose is a little bit overwhelming for me. So not my favorite, but it's not bad. Number 2, same brand, and Tom of Finland. This is more old school, typical what you think of a leather smell to be. The top notes are aldehydes and lemon. Middle notes are birch, pine, cypress, pepper, geranium, galbanum. Base notes are suede, tonka bean, vanilla, iris, vetiver, musk, ambergris. I get a lot of earthiness with this one, not just a leather, boring leather fragrance. It smells like a classy, everyday fragrance that, you know, it's just a little bit richer and earthier and leather leaning. So I guess I like a more traditional leather. My number 1 pick is from Tom Ford Ombre Leather. I know Tom Ford does a bunch of leathers. I don't have a lot of them, but I like this one. But I can't really tell you which was the best leather from Tom Ford. But this one I like a lot. Yeah, I think this one is like really new car smell kind of a leather, so not so animal-like and very clean smelling. So it has cardamom, leather, jasmine, amber, moss, and patchouli. Yeah, this one, I don't know, I connect with. It probably reminds me of something I've smelled before, and to me it's a new car smell with leather seats. Just a very classic, classy fragrance. I could see someone wearing a suit wearing this. Alright, so that rounds out my leather choices. Let's get into oud. I know a lot of people love oud, and I don't have that many, unfortunately. So oud wood could go in here, but I'm not gonna put it in this category. I put it in wood because it smells like wood to me. I have 4, and we're gonna start with number 4, Akro Fragrances Night. So the reason I put this one at number 4 is because it has very strong cumin notes, and that's because this is supposed to be for the vice sex. So it smells like body odor to me, very strongly, very animal-like, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to smell like body odor, I want to smell good, but I know some people like that muskiness. It's not bad if you like cumin. I think you might like this, but it does have Bulgarian rose as well, oud and saffron. Just not my cup of tea for sure. Number 3, I'm choosing Fragrance de Bois Oud Noir Intense. This is my only Fragrance de Bois sample I've tried. The top notes in here, I'm getting something a little bit funny that's kind of like sharp and soapy. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. It has cardamom, bergamot, rose, jasmine, oud, musk, patchouli, saffron, sandalwood, amber, and vanilla. The top notes of this are not very oud-like, and for something called Oud Noir Intense, I want it to be more oud. So this one surprised me. I thought it was gonna be, I would like it more, but yeah, I'm not fan. Number 2, Maison Francis Kurkdjian Oud Satin Mood. This is a really good projecting fragrance. I wore it out one day and I could keep smelling it. It was quite strong. Like I put it up here and I was like, oh, this is a strong fragrance that just keeps hitting my nose. So it was a little bit overwhelming, especially if you get warm really easily. It's a projector, but I think it's a nice feminine version of an oud. It's got some florals in there. So it has damask rose, rose oil, oud, violet, vanilla, amber, geranium, cinnamon. I think it's a really nice oud. It was a little bit much because I was smelling it so much. I'm like, oh, maybe I should leave this for nighttime when it's a little bit cooler, but I do enjoy this one. And my number 1 pick, I picked this sample up because I heard so many great things about this fragrance and you guys commented that I should try it. But my number 1 pick is Initio Oud For Greatness. I wouldn't mind picking this up. I don't know how often I would wear it, but I do really like the smell. To me, this is like what I think of when I think of oud now. Like oud is supposed to smell good. That saffron. It has saffron, nutmeg, lavender, oud, patchouli and musk. This is like unbeatable. You cannot beat this one. This has to be, I mean, I need to smell more ouds, but this is definitely on the top, and it's strong, but it's good. Like, it's good that it's strong, in my opinion. You don't want this to be light. So that is my number one pick, and that rounds out my picks for this video. So we went through amber, tobacco, leather, and oud. Let me know what I should try out from each of these categories. What are your favorites that I'm missing out on? Please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.